Most people think food security ends at the grocery store. It does not. A supermarket shelf is only the final visible link in a chain that begins much farther away, with production, moves through transport and distribution, and ends with retail access at the local level. 3 failure points, and most households depend on all 3 working at the same time. The first failure point is production. The second is movement. The third is local access. The dangerous part is not that any one of these systems can fail. The dangerous part is that one failure can place pressure on the other 2. So the first question is simple. If one part of that chain breaks, which failure reaches your kitchen first? That is the first loop. We will come back to it. Before that, there's a second question. Why can a store look fully stocked one day and suddenly feel unreliable the next, even when farms are still producing food? The first piece of evidence is not a secret report. It is the structure of the system itself. Food is produced somewhere. It is processed, packed, stored, or transferred. Then it moves through roads, warehouses, distribution centers, and local delivery routes before you ever see it under fluorescent lights. Every step adds efficiency. Every step also adds dependency. If you want more practical survival files like this, subscribe, leave a like so this reaches more people, and comment which emergency system you want investigated next. Now look at the first failure point, production. This is where most people begin, because production feels distant. Farms are large, agriculture is industrial, food seems abundant. But production is not a single event. It depends on weather, water, labor, seed, fuel, equipment, electricity, fertilizer, storage, processing, and timing. A disruption does not need to destroy an entire harvest to matter. It only needs to reduce output, delay processing, or remove one essential input at the wrong time. Here is what the pattern shows. Food production is resilient when multiple inputs remain available. It becomes fragile when one critical input has no substitute. A greenhouse without water is just a structure. A field without fuel may still contain crops, but harvesting becomes harder. A harvest without storage can become waste. This is where most people stop looking, and that's the mistake. Because the chain does not end when food exists. Food has to move. That is failure point number 2, transport and distribution. The grocery store does not manufacture food in the back room. The shelves depend on repeated deliveries. Those deliveries depend on drivers, fuel, refrigeration, warehouse operations, road access, routing, communications, and power. A disruption at this stage can create scarcity at the consumer level even if food still exists somewhere else. One detail changes everything. Availability is not the same as accessibility. A warehouse can contain food that your neighborhood cannot reach. A farm can produce food that never arrives at your store. A processing facility can have inventory that does not move because one connecting system is down. And this brings us to the second loop. Why can a stocked store suddenly become unreliable? Because the shelf is not a storage system designed for long-term household security. It's a moving endpoint. Its stability depends on the next truck, the next shift, the next route, the next functioning payment system, the next power cycle. The chain looks solid when everything is moving, but knowing the rule is not enough. You need to know when the rule fails. That happens when the third failure point appears. Local access. This is the point closest to your home, and it is the one most people confuse with the entire food system. Local access means the store is open, the road is usable, the payment system works, the refrigeration is functioning, the lights are on, the staff can arrive, the shelves can be replenished, and you can physically get there. A household can be surrounded by food and still lose practical access to it. That is the contradiction. Food security is not only about whether food exists, it is about whether your household can reach, store, prepare, and replace it. Now the third loop opens. Why do households that already keep emergency food sometimes remain dependent? Because storage solves one problem. It does not solve production. It does not solve water. It does not solve preservation after the stored supply is used. It does not solve power for systems that require electricity, and it does not create replacement capacity. That is where preparedness changes from a stockpile into a system, and it leads to a more useful way to think about preparedness. Do not ask only how much food do I have. Ask what function disappears when the shelf is no longer reliable. Food is one function, water is another, cooking is another, preservation is another, lighting, basic repairs, and communications are others. The more of those functions your home can continue performing, the less pressure one external failure creates. Start with food production. A self-sufficient backyard does not need to feed a family forever to matter. That's an unrealistic standard for many properties. Its value can be much simpler. It can produce herbs, greens, tomatoes, beans, squash, potatoes, berries, or other foods suited to the space and climate. That does not replace the entire supply chain. It reduces one part of the household's dependence on it. Preparation is not only about surviving a crisis, it is about building systems that help you become more resilient before that crisis happens. The self-sufficient backyard is a practical guide for food production, water, preservation, energy solutions, and off-grid projects for small properties. If you want to explore these systems, use the link in the description or the pinned comment. Now, back to the file.
This brings us back to where we started. Which failure reaches your kitchen first? For most households, the answer is not necessarily the first failure in the national chain. It is the first failure they personally cannot buffer. If production drops but your home has food stored, you have time. If distribution slows but you have alternatives, you have time. If the local store closes but your pantry, water storage, and home systems are functioning, you still have time. The first failure that reaches you is the one for which you have no reserve, no substitute, and no way to produce the missing function yourself. That closes the first loop. The same logic applies to water. A rainwater collection system does not make every property independent, but stored water and efficient irrigation can protect a garden from short interruptions and reduce the number of times an outside water system becomes the only option. Then, preservation. A productive garden without preservation can create abundance and waste at the same time. Food arrives according to the plant's schedule, not the household's. Drying, freezing, canning where appropriate, cool storage, and other safe preservation methods convert a short harvest window into a longer food window. That is not just storage, it is time. Backup energy follows the same principle. The goal is not to recreate the entire electrical grid in your backyard. It is to identify the small number of loads that protect essential functions. Lighting, communications, a small pump, selected refrigeration, charging, a tool needed for repairs. The value is not the size of the battery. The value is whether the system keeps a critical function alive. Now close the second loop. Why can a store go from reliable to uncertain so quickly? Because retail is the visible edge of a continuous flow system. When movement slows, the consumer sees the result late. The failure may have started at production, a warehouse, a road, a refrigeration system, or a local utility. But the household experiences it as one thing: the shelf is empty. That is why focusing only on the shelf misses the real problem. The shelf is a symptom, the chain is the system. Now consider a realistic household sequence. A severe storm damages power lines. The local store remains standing. The farms are still operating. Nothing dramatic has happened to food production, but power is interrupted. Some traffic signals stop working. A distribution route is delayed. A local store reduces operating hours. Refrigerated sections become a concern. People arrive earlier than usual because they know the storm may continue. The household that planned only around buying food encounters pressure immediately. Another household has a different experience. It already has several days of ordinary food. It has water stored. It has a small garden producing some fresh food. It has a way to cook without relying on one single appliance. It has preserved food from earlier harvests. It has modest backup energy for selected loads. Neither household is completely independent, but only one has time. That difference matters. Time prevents rushed decisions. Time allows information to improve. Time allows roads to reopen. Time allows repairs to happen. Time allows the next delivery to arrive. Preparedness often looks like supplies. In practice, its most valuable product may be decision time. Now close the third loop. Why can a household with emergency food still remain dependent? Because a pantry is inventory. A resilient home is capability. Inventory gets consumed. Capability keeps producing, preserving, repairing, or replacing. That does not mean stockpiles are useless. It means they are the first layer. Stored food buys time. A garden can add replacement capacity. Water storage protects another dependency. Preservation protects production. Backup energy protects selected functions. Tools and repair skills protect the systems themselves. The ancient record goes silent here, but the lesson remains. Resilience is not one giant solution. It is several small systems covering each other's weaknesses. And this is where the 3 failure points become useful. Production fails, your stored food and small-scale production buy time. Distribution fails, your household doesn't need the next delivery immediately. Local access fails, your home still has some ability to store, prepare, and replace essentials. None of this requires pretending that a backyard can replace a modern economy. It cannot. That is not the goal. The goal is to reduce the number of external systems that must work perfectly every single day for your household to function. That is a much more realistic definition of self-reliance. It also changes what you buy. Instead of asking which survival product looks most impressive, ask which dependency it removes. Does it produce food? Does it store water? Does it preserve a harvest? Does it keep a necessary device running? Does it repair something that would otherwise fail? Does it extend the time before you must depend on an outside system again? If the answer is no, it may still be useful, but it's probably not the first layer. The strongest preparedness plans are boring when nothing is wrong. Water containers sit quietly, seeds wait, tools hang on a wall, jars stay on shelves, a battery remains charged, a garden grows slowly. Then a disruption happens, and those ordinary systems begin doing something important. They create distance between the problem outside and the decision inside your home. That's the real point of a self-sufficient backyard. Not isolation, not fear, not pretending you will never need stores, utilities, or other people. It's reducing exposure. The food supply chain has 3 major points where pressure can reach the household: production, movement, and local access. You cannot control all 3, but you can control how much time you have when one of them stops working. And in an emergency, time is not just convenience. Time is options.